I will say it's very hard to follow your daughter who spoke so lovely. So I want to thank you, Christina. You make me so proud of you every single day. You, along with your brother and, of course, your mother and my beautiful wife, Grace, are the joy of my life. And I consider this family, to me, my greatest accomplishment. So thank you so, so much. I couldn't have served as your state senator in this community without the support and the sacrifices of our families. And this goes for my fellow state representatives, Laura Devlin, Brenda Kupchak, and I want to take a moment to recognize former State Senator John McKinney as well. John, thank you very much for your service. We want to acknowledge you, so thank you. It's a unique family that we serve together and understand the incredible challenges that we experience. But I want to say thank you to Pat and to Laura for your kind words. It is your friendship and our mutual love of public service and of our community that reminds me that there is nobility in public service. And it is really an empowering job that we can indeed make positive contributions and changes in people's lives. That is powerful, and that is truly noble. And I want to thank you both for being great role models in that. And Pat, thank you for your leadership. Laura, thank you for yours as well. So, I stand before you honored and privileged and humbled to earn your confidence and your support. And I want to reiterate a strong desire on my part to be your state senator. So, I enthusiastically accept the nomination, and I look forward to laying out a plan for the 28th district in our state of Connecticut. So I thank you very, very much for the nomination. Thank you. We need a plan, and it's going to require a visionary and a courageous plan in confronting our daunting challenges that we've had. It's been clear from what we've seen in regards to rankings, news reports, dismal job reports, but I truly believe, and I am optimistic, that a common sense approach with an optimism to move toward a positive and better Connecticut. And it will reflect the beliefs and the resultant actions and the behaviors and the real examples that are set by households that we represent. You know, when we walk up and down the street in our campaign, it is not just simply asking people's vote and getting to know them. It is really listening to them and their concerns, not in our very isolated chamber of what may be special interests, what may be different entities, but when we walk the streets and we talk to people, we understand that we have a responsibility to be a common sense representative to them. I think that's the most valuable lesson that we take away from this, is the fact that we need to represent the people that send us to Hartford. And so far, I think in the past, the leadership of this state, the governorship, has not truly reflected that. So my focus for the upcoming session and this election cycle will be quite simply focusing on fiscal accountability. Fiscal accountability means the fact that we take another common sense approach to not spending more than we make, to not spend more than what we can, and borrow more than what we can pay back. And I truly believe that we don't need government to be the change agent for this state of Connecticut. I truly believe that it is the people, the hardworking people that we represent in the state, that will shape the movement and the change that's necessary. And if we follow them, we will create a far better Connecticut. And I'm encouraged. I know there's tremendous doom and gloom that we hear everywhere as we walk. But I think for us as leaders, we need to give a sense of optimism. And there's glimmers of that. We've had 2 budgets to fix deficits that resulted from, even though the 2 highest tax increases in the history of our great state, we run into a deficit. And we fought against a Democratic plan that looked to increase more taxes and increase more spending to infrastructure entities that do not represent the constituents that we serve, and the common sense approach. And I'm happy to report that in a bipartisan basis, for the past 2 budget cycles, we've been able to reach a bipartisan budget. The first one last year that overrode Governor Malloy's threatened veto. The legislative body, in a bipartisan basis, led by Republicans, in their proposal and our vision, articulated a way forward for Connecticut that did not include raising taxes, that did not include placing tolls, that did not place a misprioritized budget process. So I'm very encouraged and optimistic that we have more to do. And part of that is we need to control spending. We need to address pension reform. We need to take a look at some of the challenges that is present, but also some solutions provided by a commission that we voted in last budget session on the fiscal competitiveness. The true nature of that presentation was they presented a proposal that nobody liked. And isn't that something that is a lead to what we need to do? So I think when we look at fiscal accountability, we need to have courage and vision to understand it's not going to be easy to put Connecticut back on firm footing. But it didn't happen overnight for us to get to the state that we're in, and it's not going to happen overnight. But with courageous leadership that are focused on the priorities of representing our community, I believe we can get there. And I'm very excited to be able to work with Laura and Brenda in continuing that mission for Fairfield for fiscal accountability. I think the other part of it is to understand that when we look at fiscal accountability, we need to understand the critical role of government. We need to balance that fiscal accountability with recognizing that our priorities in government should reflect the critical missions of government in regards to prioritizing our budget. And that is in the area of public safety, in the area of education funding for all. We have to look at our transportation and infrastructure that is in dire need of repair and support. But ultimately, we need to care for those that are most at risk and vulnerable in our society. Those are that population that we have an important responsibility to care for in regards to the disabled, the intellectual disabled, our seniors, our veterans that have served our country and did such tremendous work and sacrifice to give us the freedoms that we have. We have a responsibility in government to care for that population. We can never forget that. But I believe that we can do that. Because for me, fundamentally in Connecticut, it is not a revenue problem that we have in this state. We take so much from hardworking people in taxes and fees, and we don't spend them properly. So I'm going to repeat again. We don't have a revenue problem in the state of Connecticut. We have a spending priority problem. And what we have shown in this budget in a bipartisan basis is the fact that we want to take care of our seniors. We want to take care of our IDD population. We want to respect and protect our seniors. We want to be sure that our roads and that our schools are safe for our children and our teachers. That is a priority for me. That is a priority beyond the entrenched interest of government that do not serve any practical purpose. The borrowing that we have engaged in years and years of irresponsible spending that has come due and put the bill on future generations like my daughter and future generations in Connecticut. When you borrow, you got to pay it back. It is never, ever free. So let us be responsible stewards of the money and the responsibilities that the people have given us. The second major focus for us is we have to create jobs. We have to create jobs and build our businesses. Without jobs and businesses, we're going to be in a perpetual revenue shortfall. And what we can do is ease regulations, partner with businesses, instead of saying that government is the engine that drives businesses. We have to understand that we have to prioritize our initiatives in the area of advanced manufacturing. We want to look at apprenticeship programs and vocational schools to be able to create jobs and opportunities. Not everyone is ready or willing to go to a four-year college. That we need to respect the unique skills that people in the trades bring. We need to look at new industries in our state and not just depend on the existing sectors that we have. We need to support innovative technologies such as bioscience and genomics, of which I am the co-chair in the caucus. We need to create solutions and visionary changes that makes people believe that Connecticut is ready for a change for the better. And ultimately, as we talk about the first two aspects of fiscal accountability and jobs in the economy, we have to understand that we represent people. We represent our community. And that as part of what we do, we have to represent and do our part to reflect the wills and interests in our community. One such example was the fact that we represented our constituents, and Brenda and Laura and I worked collaboratively with constituents on food allergies, task force. It was an incredible emotion, but what we saw was people that we represented believed that as their representative, we fought for them. We fought through obstacles, we worked together, we found solutions, and we passed the bill, with the ultimate goal that this bill will save lives and protect our children from food allergy. That is one example. Other examples are the fact that we've been able to increase protection for threats against our children and our teachers and our administrators in this perilous world of violence in our schools. That can never, ever stand. And we fought to increase the penalty in that area. We also looked at the environment to recognize that we have a responsibility as steward in their environment to protect the Long Island Sound, to protect open space, to ensure that we leave this world and this environment a better place for future generations like my daughter and future generations to come. But we also need, and looking forward, we need to remember that our seniors are such an integral part of our community. They bring such experience, diversity, and wisdom to sharing what our community is about, what a sense of belonging to community is about. So I'm very proud to receive the AARP leadership in the area of recognizing caregivers, to recognize the devastating effect of dementia and Alzheimer's on loved ones and their caregivers, to also look at our change in regards to the Medicare Savings Program, which impacted people's health care concerns. We made a mistake in our budget, and it is human to err, but it is far more important to work hard to correct it. And I'm very proud that in our budget that we fully restored all the money from Medicare savings programs. Again, it is a priority that we place above entrenched governmental interest to say that we have a responsibility to protect the citizens in our community, and to our seniors and to our veterans. I'm going to repeat again, you deserve our unrelenting support and gratitude. And the small ways we can repay that is to show that we are listening to you and that you deserve every bit of support from us. The other aspect I think we can do as a community is to recognize that, I know U.S. Supreme Court just approved sports gambling. Well, I will share with you, I believe that the expansion of gambling is a bad decision for the state of Connecticut. That in our fiscal dire need, we have now looked to the possibility of marijuana, gambling, and all the particulars that responsible people that are looking at policies would not take. But because of our need for money, because of our lack of discipline in spending priorities, we are looking at those type of choices that sets a bad foundation in my mind for future generations to be. I have a responsibility as a legislator to leave this state in a better place than when I came in. That is a important and inviolable compact that I've reached with my desire in public services. We have a responsibility to be statesmen. We have a responsibility to do the right thing. And Pat gave me the best advice. You lead with your heart and your head, and every once in a while, you're going to make hard decisions, so you better have a spine. And that's what leadership is all about. Leadership demonstrated by John McKinney, leadership demonstrated by Pat, leadership demonstrated by Brenda and Laura, and so many others that serve our great state. That's what leadership is all about. And I hope as we continue in this campaign that we demonstrate that leadership. And we demonstrate to the voters that will select us, I hope, that this kind of leadership is in the best long-term interest of the state. So I thank you so much from the bottom of my heart, and I appreciate your support more than you will ever know. And with that said, I want to take a special moment and say thank you to my family. Your tolerance of me is remarkable, and I'm grateful. But it is a passion that I have, and thank you for allowing me that. So thank you all very, very much for the incredible privilege. I hope to do you proud, and let's win the 28th for the Republican Party. And thank you. God bless.